Hi, it's Hans at ahappierman.com. Today's topic is a verbally abusive wife will destroy you. So, the main thing is when you find yourself with a verbally abusive wife, like I did, is to recognize what you're going through and to start to make plans to leave because this situation will not get better. For it appears like from the research I did back in the day when I was being verbally abused and not knowing which way to turn and not understanding things and why she was this way and why couldn't she just start to be nice to me again like she was in the early days of our marriage. I didn't get it, and I did tons of research, read a handful of books on verbal abuse, and usually the verbal abuse was written by books and articles were written by ladies who had specialized in ladies being verbally abused by men, and sometimes they would have, and which is horrible. Men should not do that either. Verbal abuse is horrible, no matter who is on the receiving end of it. But I think Patricia Evans, she was like the main writer I read articles about, and she did have a couple of minor articles about verbal abuse of men from women, and the research seemed to say that she found that the women couldn't stop being verbally abusive. That sometimes she would, as a therapist, she would have some success in getting men to stop being verbally abusive to their wives, but she didn't have any success in getting the women to stop. So I think for you as a man being verbally abused, I don't think you have a lot of hope in your wife getting nice again. It just doesn't seem to be any evidence that she can, and it's perhaps there's reasons for her that she thinks she has to be this way. There might be mental illnesses, there might be traumas and problems, but in the end, it doesn't matter why someone is verbally abusive. The impact of their terrible behavior on you is just going to destroy your life if it's not already destroyed. I truthfully, I'm damaged. Sometimes you just admit that your life was destroyed, and you start about rebuilding from where you're at, which is a wrecked position, and try to make something of the rest of your life. And that's what I'm doing. My website is called ahappierman.com. My YouTube channel is A Happier Man. So I'm happier than before. I wouldn't say I'm totally there yet, right, with the happiness. My life is incredible compared to where it was, but I started at well below zero on the happiness. When I was being verbally abused, I wasn't happy at all. Really, there was very little reason to be happy. Every day was just a grind, trying to get through, trying to survive, trying to hopefully not set her off. Hopefully she'll have a decent day and it not make my life really, really bad. But for the most part, that was my reality. And I think you as a man, if you're being verbally abused, that's probably your reality too. You're not sure if you can make it. You probably want to die young. You probably want something drastic to happen. You're hoping that you'll nicen up. You're not sure what tomorrow will bring. Probably more pain, probably more suffering, probably more misery. And the sooner you can recognize this, that there's really no hope for you having a good life with her, the sooner you can start to take steps to try to correct your life and get yourself out of this just being destroyed situation you're in and rebuild. But the rebuilding starts with you leaving. Now, I do have a book, Leave Your Wife and Become a Happier Man with the 3-Step System, available on the ahappierman.com website. It's got lots of information on how I decided to leave my wife, the harmful effects of verbal abuse, what were some of the simpler things I did to prepare, and what were some of the good things that happened to me afterwards. And all these years afterwards, good things continue to happen to me and for me, but they wouldn't have happened if I had stayed with that verbally abusive wife. And certainly I'm sorry she decided to be that way. I don't know why. And your wife probably, maybe she doesn't really understand why she is so harsh to you, but she is, and she's destroying your life. And the biggest thing is for you to get out of that and find a way to start over. Now, since your life is destroyed already, once you leave, you can't expect that everything is going to be just hunky-dory and all roses. Certainly, everything about your life is going to be wrecked. The relationships you had as a couple, families, friends, work colleagues, all of this is going to be wrecked. Your finances are going to be wrecked. It's potentially, the children potentially could be wrecked. Now, in my case, I left, and the kids, I didn't want them to continue to see me being verbally abused. It was destroying them, and they did stay with their mother when I left, and I stayed in their lives, and eventually they left their mother, and I finished raising them, and we have a great relationship now. But you know that with you, there's no guarantee that this is going to happen. A lot of time you hear the horrible stories of the mother kind of poisoning the children against the father, and further ruining his life. And this can happen to you. And I'm just kind of warning that you have to think of this. And your finances are probably going to be wrecked. Mine were thoroughly and utterly destroyed, and it's taking 20 some odd years to try to get back to some normalcy. But the good thing about all of that is you don't have to have great finances to have a great life. I have had more fun and excitement and adventure in the last 3 or 4 or even 10 years than I can't even dream about. And I just find a way to have a good time, and I find a way to enjoy my life, and you can too, as long as you realize that staying with a verbal abusive wife is ruining your life, and you got to get out of it to have any hope of a better future. All for now.